Our operation here at Sport Chalet is hardcore retail. It's a flow-through operation. We try to pick off as many units as possible at receipt and push those to the store. We house about 50 to 75,000 unique SKUs. At a particular store, we may have 500,000 different types of SKUs that Sport Chalet has in the store at any one time. When I first started, we were basically picking and receiving off of paper. We had trucks lined up out to the 60 freeway on certain days of the year. At that time, it took us between 2 and 4 days to get product through the building.
Before voice, we had the Gladiator wrist guns, which were very cumbersome. Operator always had to look down, see where he's going, find where he's at, scan the box that was at the location, look back to see how many he had to put in, and then continue on until that tote was empty.
So in order for us to continue growing as a company, we knew we had to get some help, and Vocollect helps us do that. Well, the main reason why we were looking at voice was just to improve the productivity in the area. We needed to get our people more productive.
Well, I picked voice because it's effortless. You have to do a lot more effort and a lot more work involved to pick with RF than voice.
My experience with voice has been easier because I have both my hands free, and before we used to have the RF gun on our wrist and it was heavy and a lot of hassle.
Basically with the handgun, it gets in your way, you drop it and everything. The headset will be on your head, it'll be a little bit easier. So you have 2 hands free, so basically you don't have nothing in your way, so you go quicker.
Using the voice system, it makes you more accurate because it frees your hands up a lot to pick different items, more than one item at one time.
We saw about a 35% productivity increase within the first month. Plus, it's allowed us to reduce the staff. We don't need as many people because they're able to do more totes in their 10-hour shift than they did before.
I prefer using a wireless headset compared to the headset with the wire because it actually gives you a chance to put the terminal on the back of your cart instead of having to wear it on your belt. So that means it gives you more mobility to be able to bend down and pick your order or reach up and pick your order, and you don't have to feel the terminal on your belt.
Number one benefit to voice, I would say, is in the rack, which is picking the bigger items. So they have both their hands free to pick a ping pong table or a soccer table.
We saw that the ability to have both hands free and being able to move throughout the area without having to look down at an RF device were the main benefits of Vocollect. One thing stood out is that a lot of these individuals, after they would complete one tote, they would be at the end of the path. They would have to walk all the way back to start at location 0 again for the next tote.
Before, I used to have to walk all the way to the front, scan another one. But now I just grab any tote back there, say the tote number, and then start from backwards up, and then do it again, frontwards to backwards. Reverse.
You can just tell Vocollect reverse,
3-1.
and Vocollect will now present the locations in reverse sequence so that now you're working left to right, right to left. That's something we couldn't do with the RF device. The benefits of Vocollect versus some other voice technology is the fact that the voice is computer generated, so we can speed it up. That was a huge advantage for us because we saw on day 1 we started out the associates on like level 5, and very, very quickly they were able to understand the voice and actually start asking me, hey, can we speed it up? And so with it being a computer generated voice, it's very easy to speed it up, which in effect speeds up your worker. The training time has been reduced from days down to hours with Vocollect.
I've been using the voice system for about 3 months now. It was pretty quick to pick up.
We've seen within 2 hours, people being productive to where it used to take probably a whole day before we could train someone.
In my opinion, it's a lot easier to learn something when you're hearing it and being instructed what to do versus having to read something off an RF gun in English if that's your second language.
At the beginning, we found that they were having a hard time saying the numbers because they predominantly speak in the Spanish tongue.
Vocollect was so versatile that we could have them actually speak their answers into the device in Spanish, and Vocollect would recognize whether it was English or Spanish.
LPN.
Otto 8570.
Check digit.
Otto 2.
Approved.
Ready.
10 Bravo 1.
16.
Approved.
Ready.
They've all trained all their numbers in Spanish, and they use a crossbred. They still use English for some of the other functions like ready and change region and that. But it's helped them tremendously because now they don't struggle with putting that 4-digit number together. When they struggled in English, now it rolls off their tongue right in Spanish.
Most of our employees are long-term, and they were able to pick up on the voice technology very easily. They weren't afraid of it. In fact, most people think it's rather cool. So they all want to know, hey, Steve, when are we going to get voice in our area?
Zero maintenance problems with voice.
The battery of the headset, it'll get you through a full shift.
I have never had to replace a battery yet. It works the entire shift. It's safer because you're concentrating on just hearing a voice versus have to lug the RF around. And we don't do damage to the voice devices versus the RF, where we actually ran over 4 of them. So that's 2,500 to 3,000 right there.
The devices that we use, there's really no moving parts. You're not pushing buttons, so they're not breaking down. They attach to your belt, they're out of the way, there's less damage, less wear and tear, and so they're up, they work all the time. Our RF devices, I'm ashamed to say, about 15 to 20% of every device is at our VAR being repaired on a daily basis. With Vocollect, with their equipment, we haven't seen any downtime. We're on a very aggressive growth pattern, and we've seen additions of stores upwards of 15 to even 20% some years. And in order for us to keep up with that volume, we need extra help, and Vocollect has provided that for us because our workers are more productive. For the future, we're trying to get every single human in this building on voice.